The Super Bowl of eggs. Prices have come down from those astronomical levels, even if they still squeezed family budgets over the Easter weekend. Wholesale egg prices dropping more than 50 cents from earlier this year, now costing around $3.13 per dozen. Retail price still sits at $3.93 per dozen. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rollins has made lowering cost a priority. Priority number one. I don't think that's a stretch. And she joins us now. Madam Secretary, a pleasure in your pink Easter suit. Great to see you.
I am in full theme today, Dagan. It is Easter egg roll here at the White House, and I look like an Easter egg. I mean, really, what more could you ask?
I don't want to dismiss people's price concerns, but one thing that certainly has happened is supplies have picked up a great deal, and that is noticeable, and it certainly removes the kind of, and it's a fear that people feel that supplies of eggs are readily available now. Now, moving on to the prices. What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, as you know, because I think we talked about it on your show, about a month and a half ago, the president asked me to put a bold plan together to address what, under the Biden administration, was an increase of the cost of eggs to the consumer of 237%. And there were a lot of reasons for that. Avian flu is a big driver and still continues to be. But we released that plan, 5 big parts of it. And the very next day, in fact, I have a new egg chart that tracks with the festivities of today, but you can see the price of eggs went all the way down, as you mentioned, 58% since we rolled that plan out. That's the wholesale cost, and you'll begin to see that in parts of the country. We've already seen eggs drop 50, 60, 80%, and other parts, more of the blue states, they've stayed a little higher for regulation reasons, but we've gotten our arms around it, and hopefully, as you mentioned, today was the Super Bowl of eggs. Well, yesterday, Easter, today at the White House. But we'll continue to focus on it, get our arms around it, and make sure that the president's promise of decreasing costs for American families continues to trend in the right direction.
All right, now my real question, Brooke, is did you beat my record for eating egg pops, which I still hold from the first time around? But let's get to the commercial side of this, because obviously going into a lot of other products, not just baked goods, restaurateurs and others, that's where this relief is starting to show. And we talked when this first began, when you took on this task, how are those commercial users, the end users, giving you feedback? What's it like?
Well, the egg farmers, the users, I mean, they have all been so great. And I think that's a reflective of our larger cabinet, the larger approach that President Trump has to making America great again. How many people can we bring in to give us feedback, to partner, to ensure that we're listening to everyday Americans that are feeding their families, that are providing the jobs, that are ensuring that food security is national security. So the feedback has been extremely positive from all corners. Now, we've got a long-term, David, we have a long-term problem here, and that is the avian bird flu. And the Biden administration sort of tried to manage it, but didn't do much trying to fix it. We are trying to do that as part of the 5-point plan. Number 5 is investing in therapeutics and vaccines, and we'll see where that goes. But we have to, as a society, get our arms around this, because food security in America is national security, and eggs are the cheapest, most nutritious source in many ways of how we solve for that, especially with those on, you know, the lower end of the socioeconomic ladder that are food challenged. And we don't ever stop thinking about that or working toward a solution for all Americans.
All right, let's get to why you're my superhero. I have been preaching this since the 90s. I was there when Texas worked on doing this. I've been through this in multiple states. India and Arkansas becoming the first states to ask you, the USDA, to allow them to ban candy, soda from SNAP benefits. We have got to stop growing fat kids and obesity, which becomes a huge problem in this country.
Listen, 40%, 40% of our kids are facing a chronic disease, diabetes. And so it isn't just what we're feeding them with taxpayer dollars on the front end, in large part through food stamps, but it's also what it's costing our healthcare system on the back end. For me, this couldn't be more black and white. This is a taxpayer dollars should not be funding sugary drinks, junk food, etc., that feeds through our food stamp, our TANF program, the more economically challenged, food challenged population, because it just ends up causing so many problems. So the very first hour, when I was just sworn in as Secretary of Agriculture, we sent a letter to every governor in America asking them for their partnership for innovative solutions, that we would fast track any waivers. I've been in constant communication with about a dozen of the governors, by the way, both Republican and Democrat, that want to work with us. Sarah Sanders and Mike Braun, Indiana and Arkansas, were the first two to come forward. Kim Reynolds did something cool too out of Iowa, but we've got more coming, and we are moving at light speed to get healthier options into our food stamp program and make our kids healthier again.
Also, Idaho asked for a waiver. So, Madam
Yes, that's
Secretary,
right.
will you grant these waivers?
We are, listen, I was in Arkansas last Tuesday. On Wednesday morning, our team was working with Governor Sanders' team immediately. You're right, Governor Little has been an absolute pioneer on this as well. We will be moving very, very, very quickly. The waivers will be approved, assuming that all four corners are legal and the application is good, which I'm sure it will be, and you'll be seeing a lot more news on this front moving forward.
3/4 of adult food stamp recipients are overweight.
Yeah.
Secretary Brooke Rollins,
Solid.
I'll leave you with that. Great to see you, Madam Secretary.
Thank you, Brooke.
Thank you, Dagan. Thank you, David. Great to be on.